Hey there everybody, it's Mike DiLisio. Today I'm going to be reviewing Figment from designer Wolfgang Warsch and publisher CMYK Games. Figment is one in a line of what were known as the Magenta games, what is known as the Magenta games, 4 card games that were released concurrently from publisher CMYK Games. Figment is a re-implementation of a game called Illusion, a small box card game from designer Wolfgang Warsch from a few years ago. That was a competitive game. This is a cooperative game using essentially the same mechanism. So let's head over to the table. I'll just play through a brief round. It's a very simple game to learn. Then we'll come back here and I'll show you what I think. Figment is a cooperative game where players are going to be playing through 5 rounds, and each round they're going to be laying out 5 cards in a row, and what they're trying to do is figure out what the percentage of a particular color is on that card and get them so they're going from lowest percentage to highest percentage. So the easiest way to show this is just to play through a sample round. First thing you're going to do is you're going to flip over the top deck of this arrow, top card of this arrow deck and see what color. In this case it's saying green. So what you're trying to do is present a row of 5 cards where the green, the percentage of green, goes from smallest to highest. So you draw the top card of the deck and this will be the first one that you're starting with. And so right here you are kind of getting an idea for how much green is in this card. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the next card and you're going to say, do you feel that there is more or less, a lower or higher percentage of green in this card than in the card previous? Well, I'm just going to say that I think that there is more green in this card than in this card, so I'm going to go ahead and place that accordingly. And you're going to do the same thing until 5 cards have been revealed. So let me just try to do this quickly. I'm going to go something like, oh, this is going to be tight. I'm going to go like this. For this one, I'm going to go maybe here. I may be wrong right in the very beginning. And then for this last one, I'm doing this very quickly, of course, but I'm going to say maybe it is this. All right? So once your team has agreed on a lineup of 5 cards, next thing you're going to do is you're going to choose how confident you feel in that lineup. Because you're going to be placing one of these 5 betting chips on there, which is going to be points that you win if you're able to get them all correct. So I don't feel terribly confident. Let's say that I start and I say I'm going to bet, or we as a team are going to bet 2. At this point, you choose which side of the lineup you're going to start with. You would want to start with the side that you feel the most confident with and then start from there. So here, I'm not feeling great either way, honestly, but let's start from this side. So what I do is I flip over the first card. We're looking only at the percentage for green. So it's saying that this first card, the percentage of green on that card is 11%. Now, I want, and the team wants, this to be higher than 11%. So we're going to go ahead and flip it. 6%. Boom. Lost right away. So in this case, we would only get 1 point because this was the only card that we did correctly. Let's say, for example, that instead we had done this and we had put them in the correct order. All right. Which I had not. But let's say that we had done that. Then we come over here. Now we're at 18%. That would be 3 points so far. 24%. We're at 4 points. And 21%. We would have been incorrect. So here we would have got 4 points. If we had gotten all of them correctly, we would take all 5 of these scorecards in our pile, plus the 2 points, and then we would move on to the next round where we would have a different color that we were working towards. After you've played through all 5 rounds, you're going to count up your score of all the cards you got correct, plus any point chips you got correct, and then you're going to have a little scoring matrix to see how well you did, bronze, silver, or gold. If you find this to be too easy and you want to add more challenge, you can go to challenge mode by doing 6 cards instead of 5 and seeing how you did. There you go. That's the basics of Figment. Let's head back and I'll let you know what I think. Alright, so there you see Figment. As I mentioned at the outset of the video, Figment is a re-implementation of a game called Illusion that was essentially the same idea, but in a competitive style game where if you place a card in a particular area along the array, someone could call you on it and say, no, that's not right. And if they called you correctly, they would get a point. If not, you would get a point, things along those lines. So essentially the idea, but in a competitive environment rather than a cooperative environment. So let's start with that first. Do I think that the game is better as a cooperative game than as a competitive game? And I suppose my answer is maybe. I don't know. I know that's not definitive. I think it works both ways. How about that? I think it worked fine in Illusion. I felt like that game worked well. I think I kind of lean towards the cooperative. So there you go. If I have to nail myself down, I think I lean more towards cooperative because really that always felt, even Illusion always felt essentially like a party type of a game. And I think that it works, party games like this work probably best cooperatively, right? Where you're all kind of pulling together, working towards a common goal, and you succeed, you feel that rush of excitement if you get it all correctly, and you fail, the collective, it works well in these types of games. So would I still play Illusion? Absolutely, and I think that it still has its place. But I do think that it was not a bad idea for this version of the game to go in a cooperative, angle to it, because again, it feels more like a party game. Could you play either way? I suppose you could, because again, really, it's all about the cards. And let's talk about those cards. So I'm not going to get into a huge discussion over kind of the box size that these magenta games come in. I talked about that. I've already done a review of a game from this line called Fives that you can check out on the channel. And I spent a good amount of time in that review talking about the box size. I'll just shorten it for you. The boxes are larger than they need to be. It means the price point is higher than it would be if it was a small box of cards, and your mileage will vary whether you feel like that is something that you value or don't. I don't have a huge issue with it as a kind of just a decision that this publisher made. This is nice. These are more kind of like they're going for like more of an heirloom type of a thing. Again, that's up to you whether you are okay with spending the extra amount of money. The cards are larger, right? These are not standard size cards. So the tarot size cards makes a little more sense in a box like this. The biggest issue that I really have production-wise is really in the single color of silver that is in this game. And that is because it can be difficult to differentiate the silver from the white oftentimes, especially with particular lighting. So lighting is going to be a huge, huge issue with this game. In some lighting, and I've seen it because I've played in different lighting environments, the silver almost blends in with the white, and it can be very difficult. And sometimes it's best to pick up the card and you almost have to kind of tilt it to see, okay, because it'll catch a glare or a shine or a shimmer there with the silver that will help it differentiate from the white. But should that even be an issue? Probably not. And so that is something that I do wish that they had been able to better kind of address. Because when you look at the backs of the cards, with it being black, well, the silver pops there. All of the colors pop. And so they made a stylistic decision to go with white as the background of the front of the cards. And I do think that while it fits a particular aesthetic that can look cool, I don't think it stands out as sharply as the black. So I almost wonder if they'd been better off going with black as the front of the card. But, you know, that's just a decision that they made. I do feel like it does create a bit of an issue, specifically just with the silver, but that's one of the four colors that you are looking to differentiate. So it is something that I feel like I needed to bring up. And it does also affect a bit the rating of the game, because it's a pretty big issue, again, especially with lighting. That being said, I mean, this is a party game that I think just works. I actually did a live stream on the channel where I just played with people in the live chat, and we were putting the cards in the spots that we thought and playing through it live on camera. And that worked out really well. And so that just kind of reinforces my experience with the game, which is that this is a game that has pretty wide appeal. It's a game that people who haven't actually sat down at the table to play can kind of be walking by and join in and play as well. Those types of party games, I think, can be very valuable in particular places if you've got, a larger group of people, if you're, in a convention, or if you're just, out and you're not looking to do something that is too mind intensive. You just want to kind of have some fun with folks and be able to talk and socialize at the same time as playing a game. Figment is one of those types of games that fits in very, very well. Again, the biggest downside I have is just with the color of the silver. It does kind of hinder a little bit from what I think is overall a pretty solid game. So I do recommend Figment. I'm going to be giving it a 7 out of 10. I think that I would have gone probably up to an 8 if the silver was not as much of an issue. But it is an issue, and it's one that I just feel like could have been probably addressed, and I kind of wish it had. But otherwise, still a game that the mechanics of the game are fun. I feel like it has a wide appeal. It's a solid party game that you can kind of break out, and I think a lot of people are going to they're going to understand it like that, and so that gives it enough for me to recommend it. All right, well, that's going to be it for me. This is Mike DiLisio signing off, and I'll see you on the next one.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.